Hi Fancies, today we're going to be reviewing and applying the Maybelline Super Stay Concealer. We're going to rate by packaging, application, coverage, and overall wear. So let's dive right in. Today I'm going to apply and blend this concealer under my eye as a highlight using my beauty blender. If you have dark circles, I do suggest color correcting before this step so you're not using as much product to hide the darkness. Today I'm using shade 30. Okay guys, so I've already applied just my foundation and I've prepped underneath my eye. You can actually click on the link below to see what foundation I'm wearing today and see my review on it. On the packaging, it states it lasts up to 30 hours. I don't know who's up for 30 hours with makeup, but you know, you might have an all-nighter, might have a brunch that turned into a party, that turned into an after party, that then turned to a breakfast, that then turned to a lunch. That is 30 hours. Yeah, it's pretty accurate. Right off the bat, I love the packaging as you can control exactly how much concealer you want to apply. You won't overdo it and you could build as you go. So I definitely love that. If I could find my mirror. Okay, so I like to apply just right underneath and spread that out. And then I like to go right where my wing eyeliner is and add a bit of a lift. Don't make fun of my beauty blender. No, I don't have a dog. No, I don't have pets. I do have nails that like to dig, and yeah, digged and created this bit of a chunk. I have a beauty blender en route, so we're fine. I like to let concealer sit for a little bit, hence me talking and not blending, because I did notice that the concealer is a bit watery and my beauty blender will soak it up. However, not all concealers are that way. There are some concealers that are watery, but there's so much pigment that it doesn't matter if you're using a brush or a sponge. You will still get the coverage that you need. However, with this one, this is not the case. So I did let it sit for a little bit. So coverage isn't as full as I expected. It's buildable, but you want to be careful building underneath the eye as it will settle into fine lines and bags. So this is what it looks like without any powder. It doesn't leave a dewy finish. I would say it's more of a demi-matte to matte finish underneath the eye. So if you are really dry underneath the eye, I probably would not recommend it. And if you are adamant about using it and trying it, I would definitely suggest really using a good eye cream to make sure you are very hydrated. So when you do apply the concealer underneath your eye, it's not settling into fine lines or caking up. All right, y'all, I'm going to complete my look and come back with my final thoughts. Okay, fancies, I'm back with a full beats. And I must say, this concealer doesn't really do it for me, y'all. I'm sorry. I think the texture is just a little too thin for it to give me a real good medium to full coverage finish. I did figure out a little bit of a hack to make this foundation seem a little bit on the medium side as far as letting the concealer sit on your face for a little bit. That sounded wild. Woo! I did use a hack to let the concealer marinate into the skin for a little bit before blending, and that actually helps thicken up the concealer so it gives you a little bit more coverage. However, I would not recommend this if you plan on doing heavy highlighting and contouring and you want major definition. I would not recommend it. This is something if you're in a rush, you're going to do errands, you go into the bodega, you going downstairs to pick up something like that. In those scenarios, this would work. It's just very quick to apply and like blend it out with your fingers or a sponge. However, if you are going out in the town and you're going to party it up, or you're going out to a nice dinner or what have you, I don't think this one is it. Not for me, at least. On the flip side, if you want to use this as a spot concealer, you can definitely build it on the skin, then apply your foundation on top to smooth everything over and blend it nicely. But if you're going to use it as an under eye highlight and you want that coverage as well as the highlighting effect, I would not recommend. If you have very dark circles and you're trying to highlight and you are going to use a color corrector as well, I definitely still would not recommend it, as it's not going to give you the coverage that you need to, one, hide the dark circles, and two, conceal the color corrector once it's applied. So here are the keeping it real scores. Packaging, definitely gonna give it an 8. It's compact, it's small enough, and it has an applicator. Love applicators. You can control how much product you are using. Love, love, love. For application, I'm going to give it a 5 here. It doesn't blend very well, especially with a sponge, as it's a bit on the watery side and the sponge will soak it up. And when you're dealing with under eye concealers, under eye highlight concealers, you definitely want to use a sponge because you don't want to use a lot of product, because if you do use a lot of product, the product is going to settle into the fine lines. So having it be a watery texture underneath the eye definitely is a no for me. The only hack that I find works with this particular concealer is to apply it underneath the eye, and before blending it out, let it settle on the skin for a little bit. Let it have a chance to thicken up, then blend to your liking. For coverage, I'm going to give it a 5 for under eye highlight and a 7 for hiding spots, imperfections, acne, scarring, etc., etc. It did give me a good amount of coverage on those imperfections once I put my foundation on top and blend everything together. It did a pretty good job there. Now for my final score. For overall wear, with all things considered, I'm going to have to give this concealer a 6. It has great medium coverage for spot concealing if you let the product sit and settle on the skin for a little bit before blending. However, I would not recommend it if you're using it as an under eye highlight and you have dark circles. Alright y'all, that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you in my next video. Bye!